Hey guys, today I'm going to give you an intro to multiplication. Let's get started. What's multiplication? Well, multiplication is repeated addition. So what does that mean? Well, if we look at an example, 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, we can express that as 5 times 2 because we're adding 2 5 times. Or we can write it as 5 with an X like multiplication symbol and then a 2. It's a shortcut for repeated addition because, as you can see, it's much easier to write this than it is to write this whole thing. Alright? So to help you picture multiplication better, we can model it with dots. So if I had 6 times 4, I could express it as 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 24. Because we're adding 4 6 times, and if we add that all together, we get 24. And if I had 3 times 3, I could express it as 3 plus 3 plus 3. And if we add it together, 3 times, we get 9. So 3 times 3 equals 9. Alright. How do we use multiplication in the real world? Let's look at an example of that. Julie has 7 friends that she's inviting over for a party. She's ordering pizza for the party. If she wants there to be 2 slices for each person at the party, including herself, how many slices of pizza should she make sure she gets? Now, let's look first at this word here, each. Now, the word each is like a signal in word problems for multiplication. Most of the time, when you see the word each in a word problem, it'll mean multiplication. It's just like, hey, hello, when you're solving this problem, you're going to need multiplication. Kind of like that. For most problems, again, not all, but for most. So, we have Julie and her 7 friends, shown here. It says in the problem, Julie has 7 friends. Oops. It's kind of sloppy. Let me re-underline that. So Julie has 7 friends. And the reason why we're counting Julie too, instead of just the 7 friends, is because it says including herself. Alright, so we have Julie and 7 friends. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. And if we give them all pizza, it says here in the problem, 2 slices for each person. So if we give them that, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And it asks us how many slices of pizza should she make sure she gets. In other words, how many total will she need? And we can do that with, you guessed it, multiplication. We're basically adding 2 8 times here, right? 2 for each person. So that we're adding 2 8 times. So we can write that as 8 people times 2 slices each equals 16 total slices. So 8 times 2 equals 16. Perfect. Now, let's talk about the commutative property of multiplication. Now, I know this sounds really long and fancy, but it's quite simple what it means. Basically, just like addition, multiplication can go both ways. And I'll show you what I mean. 3 times 4 equals 4 times 3. 6 times 2 equals 2 times 6. If we look here, 9 times 2, if we add 2 9 times, 2 plus 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 2, we get 18. And if we do 2 multiplied by 9, if we flip the previous multiplication problem around, and we add 9 2 times, we get 18 also. Now, the last thing I want to brush upon is basic multiplication facts and how you can use a multiplication chart to help you. Basic multiplication facts, they're like from 1 times 1 to 12 times 12. And if you master these basic facts from 1 times 1 to 12 times 12, you're ready for advanced multiplication. And while you're starting, before you memorize them, you can use a multiplication chart to help you, and I'll show you what it looks like. This is what a multiplication chart looks like, and you can use this chart to determine the answer to any multiplication problem from 1 times 1 to 12 times 12. And I'll show you how to use it really quickly. So, if I have 7 times 4, for example, as we remember from the commutative property, I can, if I start with 7, I can make it on either side, because 7 times 4 and 4 times 7 are the same thing. So let's say I choose this side. I go down to the 4 row and across, and where they meet up is my answer, so 28. And if I did it the other way, 7 here and 4 here, my answer is still, in fact, 28. Now if I show you one more example, 12 times 11, a bit harder. I'll show you both ways again. If we start with 12, go down until 11, and across, and where they intersect or meet, my answer is 132. And if we do it the other way, 12 here times 11, they meet right here, and my answer is in fact still 132. Alright. So, again, try to memorize these facts. And that is the end of our video on an introduction to multiplication. And I just want you to remember that this is the tip of the iceberg here. There's a lot more to learn in multiplication still. And with this intro video, I'm just teaching you the fundamentals, basics that you need to advance. So, happy learning!